Right, hello kids. In this video, we're going to discuss and orient ourselves with the web components. I believe I have created something similar years ago. I think it was in YouTube. Let's see if it is still in YouTube, right? Go to .netist. I don't know, yeah, here. My videos. And let's go to the content. Yeah, this one here. Search across your channel. Okay, so let's search for, I think it's Angular React. Yeah, this one. Shared custom, shared custom element between React and Angular using NX. Okay. Shared custom element. Yeah, so this is NX. How about web components? Have we discussed this before? Duplicate. Rapapap, rapapap. Alright, web components. Component. So yeah, I think we did not. Alright, so let's read what is a web component. Okay. Web components is a suite of different technologies allowing you to create reusable custom elements. Yeah, I think that's it, right? This one here. Custom elements. Yeah, so that is web component. With their functionality encapsulated away from the rest of your code and utilize them in your web pages. Concepts and usage. As developers, we all know that reusing code as much as possible is a good idea. This has traditionally not been so easy for custom markup structures. Think of the complex HTML and associated style and script. You've sometimes had to write to render custom UI controls, and how using them multiple times can turn your page into a mess if you are not careful. Web Components aims to solve such problems. It consists of three main technologies which can be used together to create versatile custom elements with encapsulated functionality that can be reused whenever you like without fear of code collision. Right? So, custom elements, a set of JavaScript APIs that allow you to define custom elements and their behavior, which can then be used as desired in your. Okay, so Um, let's open that and hope that oh yeah, we don't have any link. So let's just open the video. Alright, here. Let's open the video. Show off some cool tricks that I had here. This is using what is web component, a custom component. This is a plain vanilla JavaScript. Then here, meter here. Okay, so just some cool tricks here that I created. So there's a square. This is the square. I put some style, and then the H3 here, the title, and the title can be set here. And this one here, this is the custom dialog that custom element that we created. And we have the title here, the observe attributes, and we put a hello here. We can put here J3X here, and it will change to J3X here. And there's our rotating square, and this one here is a toggle to switch it off. Okay, so it will not animate, it will not rotate, and then when we click this again, it will rotate again. So it's an NX exercise. So to shared components, and then if we okay, so let's go to our GitHub. Let's open our GitHub. Alright, so do come up to meet you. Exercise, NX exercise. Okay, this one. Shared components. Alright, so shared components, I believe. Okay, so we just need to change this to dev to open a Visual Studio web editor. Come up to meet you, tell you Eyes go out and it can be seen. Try and try to sleep again. Pull me down upon my knees. Oh, a big happy Norway Arwell greeting. And I control my head. So I can be named. And am a part of the DC singing. Oh, so where was this coming from? Alright, so this is the custom element. So libs, in the libs we created, so we have apps and we have libs, and in the libs we created a custom element extends weak map shadow roots. I don't know what's this shadow roots. I'm a part of the DC singing. Creating a custom element from scratch. Okay. Alright, so let's open what is this link about. Creating a custom element from scratch. Okay. In the last article, we got our hands dirty with web components by creating an HTML element that is in the document but not rendered until we need it. Next up, we're going to continue our guest's quest to create a custom element version of the dialog component below, which currently only uses HTML template element. Oh, am I part of the DCs? Right, so let's continue. Web Components aims to solve such problems. It consists of three main technologies which can be used together to create versatile custom elements with encapsulated functionality that can be reused whenever you like without fear of code collision. Custom elements, a set of JavaScript APIs that allow you to define custom elements and their behavior, which can then be used as desired in your user interface. Shadow DOM, a set of JavaScript APIs for attaching an encapsulated shadow DOM tree to an element, which is rendered separately from the main document DOM, and controlling associated functionality. In this way, you can keep an element's features private so they can be scripted and styled without the fear of collision with other parts of the document. HTML templates. The template and slot enable elements enable you to write markup templates that are not displayed in the render page. This can then be reused multiple times as the basis of a custom element structure. The basic approach for implementing a web component generally looks something like this. Create a class in which you specify your web component functionality using the class syntax. Register your new custom element using is it okay, so web components are not the future. A few years ago, I wrote an article suggesting that web components might not be the most beneficial direction for web development to head. Maybe web components are not the future, but here web components are not the future. Okay. It was a soft-handed look at where they made sense and where things fall apart. It wasn't geared as a us against them argument, and I hope people would come to reasonable conclusions for themselves. But over the past few years, I've only seen the situation worsen. Some may have never taken web components seriously, but I always have. I used them in production for 7 years. I wrote several polyfills in the early days for things like the Shadow DOM to use them before they hit prime time. But my experience then and my experience since only points me to a single conclusion. Web components possibly pose the biggest risk to the future of the web that I can see. Visions of utopia. I admit that statements comes off a bit heavy-handed, but many reasons lie below the surface as to why I believe this, and it starts with understanding the proposed benefit of web components. The vision of web components is that one day, regardless of what tool you use to author them, you can have components that feel as native as DOM elements that can be added to any website without considerations of how the website is authored. No concerns about specific build tools, specific runtime mechanisms, or the way one would ever interface with these components would ever change. In a sense, a portable, interoperable web, one that can mitigate the future need for migration, one that sets you up for any possible future. The perfect way to future proof your sites and applications. A compelling prospect is it not. It is it not. A compelling prospect is it not? This is exactly why the promise of web components is so alluring and so dangerous. Competing standards, how standards proliferate. Situation there are 14 competing standards. 14? Ridiculous. We need to develop one universal standard that covers everyone's use case. Yeah, situation. There are 15 component competing standards. I didn't need to pull up the old X key CD comic for you to know the challenge with standards. The more ambitious the standard, the more likely it will have oppositions for alternative approaches to accomplish it. This doesn't go away when something is standardized. It's just opportunity cost is real. The cost of abstraction. The real cost of web components. Uh, okay. What are the pros and cons of web components? Web components are a set of standardized browser APIs that allow developers to create reusable encapsulated HTML elements. The core technologies include custom elements, Shadow DOM, HTML templates, and ES modules. Here's a breakdown of their pros and cons. Pros of web components: encapsulation, reusability, framework agnostic, standardized, lazy loading support, scope styling. Cons of web components: limited browser support in older browsers, i.e., yeah, we don't need this. Boilerplate complexity: creating web components from scratch requires more boilerplate compared to framework based components like React or Vue. Okay. So lack of advanced features compared to frameworks. Web components lack out of the box features like React states management, virtual DOM. Okay, yeah, this is what I am telling about virtual DOM. I was asking, hey, can this web components work with virtual DOM because we have virtual DOM, right? You guys, you need some. Okay, so routing or built-in data binding, styling limitations. While encapsulated styles are powerful, they make global theming or design systems integration harder unless using CSS variables or carefully designed APIs. Tooling and developer experience. Frameworks often offer richer tooling, dev server, blah, 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 learning curve, use case, design systems. Okay. Uh, how can you can if you want to have your exist if you want if you want to use if you want to convert your existing Angular libraries into web components, is it practical, or can I just encapsulate my existing Angular library inside a web component? I don't know if that's a real question, but here he goes. Great question and very relevant for modern front end architecture. Short answer: yes, it is practical to convert existing Angular libraries into web components, and Angular actually supports this natively through the Angular Elements package. However, whether it's the right choice depends on your goals. Let's break it down. Okay. So option one: convert web components to Angular components to web components. Angular allows you to wrap your Angular components as custom elements or web components. Oh, that is great. How it works: use Angular elements to convert Angular components into custom elements. Angular handles rendering and change detection inside the web component. The output is a standard web component that can be used in any Angular, React, Plain, Vue, Plain HTML. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Pros: keeps your existing logic, no rewrite needed, reusable across project or framework, a good path toward micro frontends and or design system distribution, maintains Angular's power, right? Oh, nice. Okay. Cons: the output bundles Angular runtime, so size can be large, several hundred KB if not optimized, not as lightweight as native web components or those written with lit or stencil. Angular change detection still runs inside the web component. Angular change detection still runs inside the web component. If you export multiple components, managing lazy loading and dependencies gets trickier. Right? Option 2: encapsulate the whole Angular library inside a web component. So instead of converting individual components, you can bootstrap your Angular app inside a shadow DOM, then expose it as a single web component. This is so nice. Okay, so when to use, you have a large Angular module or MFE and want to embed it as a block box component. You want to integrate Angular into a non-standard host app like React, blah blah blah. Pros, minimum code change. Cons, you're not building true web components. It is a mini Angular app inside a shell. Shadow DOM integration is tricky and may break Angular styling unless scoped carefully. Still bundles full Angular runtime. Practical tips: you need reusable widgets in other apps frameworks. Use this one. You're doing a slow migration, wrap Angular into a component. You want build bundles. Consider rewriting it, and you have a full Angular design system. Gradually expose parts using HTML. Okay. Example. Mm-hmm. And then HTML my widget. Okay, that's nice. So create custom element. Okay. Come up to meet you. Tell you I'm sorry. Don't know how lovely you are. All right, so that's good. That's a good news. So we can now. Okay, so let's read this. I had to find you, tell you I need you, tell you I set you apart. Okay, so if I have two websites, oh no, three websites, if one, okay, so if I have three websites, shell dot local um, uh, products dot local marketing dot local, then products dot local has a custom element that is exposed, and also marketing dot local has a custom element that that needs that is exposed. How can I use this exposed custom elements into my shell.local? Use Angular for the three websites. Shell.local will use Angular 19. Um, products.local will use Angular 15, and marketing dot local will use Angular 17. Help me create a prod sample code to implement this. Help me generate code to implement this. Right, to integrate custom elements with components from product.local and marketing.local into shell.local using different Angular versions, we can follow these general steps. Overall strategy: expose Angular components as custom elements in each MFE, blah 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 blah. Serve the remote MFEs via module federation or static blah 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 blah. Okay, install custom element. Alright, so install required here in the local blah 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 blah. Okay, and then setup for marketing. It's also going to expose that and serve. Okay, serve. Right. So add dynamic script loader utility. What is this? Oh, so in the shell, add a dynamic script loader utility. Load script. So it's going to get it from a script src module. Right. So fail to load pen script. Add a custom element in a wrapper component. So it's still in the shell. Oh man. Add the loader to your main shell app. Okay, so it's going to load the main.js. Main.js. Why main.js? Okay, so I think I got a little bit of know-how now to this, but I'm now sleepy and I will have to go to sleep. Oh man, this is so headache. This is a headache. Come up to meet you, tell you I'm sorry. You don't know how lovely. So we go to Angular documentation. I had to find you, tell you I need you. So web components. So Angular elements overview. Angular elements are Angular component backed as custom elements, also called web components. A web standard for defining new HTML elements in a framework agnostic way. Custom elements are a web platform feature available on all browsers supported by Angular. A custom element extends HTML by allowing you to define a tag whose content is created and controlled by JavaScript. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, we can play with this over the weekend. Uh, yeah, this is already a weekend. We can play with this. So, but my brain now is not working anymore. So I think we can end it from here. Good to know that Angular has supporting this, so it will make our life a little easier, maybe. Alright, cool. Thanks. Bye bye.